Hi and welcome to this Ucommerce masterclass. My name is Mads and I'm going to be your trainer in this exercise where we are going to create the order preview page in the checkout flow. Right now we have the ability to display the state of the basket with the order lines, quantity, order line total and an order total. We can maintain the basket by updating it with the quantity and removing order lines. When we continue, we are collecting all the billing and shipping information from your customer. Then we are displaying the available shipping method based on the shipping country that your customer have chosen to get shipped to. Then when the customer have selected the one that the customer prefer, we will collect that and continue to select the available payment method that are once again based on the shipping country that the customer have chosen. Then in this exercise, we want to create a summary of all the choices that the customer have made so far. But before we can start doing that, we need to get rid of this error message from Sitecore that says that the requested document wasn't found when we are requesting an URL looking like this, checkout/preview. So to get rid of this error message from Sitecore, we will have to go into the back office of Sitecore, into the content editor here, and underneath store we have our checkout flow, so right click on checkout, insert from template. I will use our masterclass _ template here. And then I will call the item preview so it corresponds with the request that we are sending. Insert. And when we have underneath view enabled the standard fields and the raw values, we should get the layout section looking like this where we can fill in a controller for the layout. Otherwise, if we leave this blank and we go back here and request the preview page again, we will get a new error message from Sitecore saying that the layout for the requested document wasn't found. This means that it was able to find the content item that we just created, but it doesn't have any layout. So down in our masterclass solution, Ucommerce for Sitecore masterclass, underneath the website, controllers, we will find a controller that should be responsible for rendering out the preview, which is called masterclass preview controller. We can then copy the first part of the name here and pass it into the controller field and save that. Now that we have specified a layout and we go back on our web shop here, we should get rid of that error message from Sitecore and get this page instead. As you can see right now, we are already displaying the information around the billing and the shipping address for the customer. We didn't want you guys to do that. But what we will have to do is, in this exercise, is fill in all the information around the order details. So we are presenting all the details to the customer right here. So he will get a summary of all the totals, including the shipping and the payment total, and also if there's any discount applied, before he confirms and continues to the payment. To do all this, we will go back to our masterclass solution here into the masterclass preview controller located underneath controllers in our website project. And as you can see, we are already mapping the addresses here, both the billing and the shipping information. That's the reason why that is already presented for our customer. So what we will have to do is take care of all the details around the basket. So to do that, the first thing we will have to do is to get the basket. So I will create a new variable here called basket, where I will go to Ucommerce, API.transaction_library.get basket, once again with false, to make sure that we are not creating any basket here. Then I will take the purchase order. Then we are also going to need the billing currency. And we can take that directly from the basket. And then we will map all the order lines that are on the basket. like this. So we will create a new variable called order line view. New order line view model, like that. And then we can start mapping all the fields that we want to display for our customer, which is the stock keeping unit. The variant stock keeping unit. The product name. The quantity. If you find a need for grabbing more information around the product that there are present on the order line, don't load up the product, but use the property collection that there are on the order line instead when you create the order line. This means that we can run the transaction system of Ucommerce without using the product catalog entirely. We have customer that doesn't use the catalog system at all and only the transaction flow. This could, for example, be handy if you have a very large catalog system and you don't want to synchronize that from an ERP system into Ucommerce. In that case, you will look up the data directly from the ERP system and then just use the transaction flow to handle the checkout. So by not loading up the product here, that will give you a lot more flexibility to keep it separated. Alright, now that we have mapped that, we can map the order line total as well, and we will use a money object for that, which is responsible for making sure that everything is formatted correctly corresponding to the culture and the currency that we have. So it takes in a value, in this case it will be the order line dot total, get value or default, and then it takes in a currency, which is our billing currency, just like that. And when we call to string on that, we should get a nicely formatted string which matches with the currency symbol and also the format for the customer's culture. Now when that is done, we can add it back to our model, which has collection of order lines, just like that. So now we should have mapped all the information that we want to show around each order line. The next thing that we are going to do is to map the information around the basket. So on our model, we have a subtotal, which once again we will use the money object here to map. So that will be basket.subtotal.getValue or default with the billing currency as well, .toString. We will do that for the tax total, and we will do it for the discount total. There you go. You can also wrap this into a private method that you then can reuse instead of having to do a new money object like this each time. So instead you will do something like this, where you are mapping the value, for example, for the shipping total, like this. Then instead we will just do a get money format, where we are passing in the basket.shipping total and the billing currency, just like that. Let's generate that down there, and this we can do for both the shipping total, the payment total, and the order total. And then down in our get money format, we will just rename our parameters here, value instead, and this will become a currency. just like that. So now we can just return a new money object with the value dot get value default and the currency, and then in the end call to string on that. That's it. So now we should be able to build the solution and refresh our preview page here. Just like this. Now you can see that we are displaying the order lines with the product, the quantity, and an order line total. We are also displaying all the other totals that we have related to the basket, subtotal, text total, the discount, and you can see that I was so lucky that I got one. And also if there is shipping and payment fee, we can see that too. And of course the order total. And all the amount is formatted nicely with the right currency symbol. And that's it. Now it's your turn to do this implementation of the exercise 250 checkout order preview. If you cannot remember all the steps that I went through, please use the handout as guidance. And when you're done implementing this exercise, please continue this video. Welcome back. I hope you managed to implement this exercise so your customer can get a preview of the order. In this exercise, we wanted to show a summary of our entire basket for the customer based on all the choices that he or she have made during the checkout, with all the fees accounted for and also if it has triggered any discounts, of course, just before we continue and collect the payment for the basket. First thing we had to do was to create a content item inside Sitecore to match the request that we were sending for the checkout preview URL. And when we have done that, we bind it together with the controller called masterclass preview controller as the layout. And down in that controller, we got the basket from Ucommerce by saying Ucommerce API.transaction.library.get basket with false, and took the purchase order from that, where we have all the information that we want to map to the customer. We took the billing currency from the basket, so whenever we mapped an amount, we could use the money object from Ucommerce with the amount and the billing currency to make sure that the amount was mapped correctly with the right currency symbol and also the right format corresponding to the culture that the customer is coming with. And that's it for this exercise. Thank you for following along. I hope you have enjoyed it. See you in the next one.